Having troubles telling how I feel, but I can dance. Couldn't possibly tell you how.
Hello and welcome to the practice problems video for quadratic functions. Okay, here's number 1. We're going to write an equation for this quadratic function in the graph. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is find the vertex. So here's the top of our parabola here. So that's at 2, 7. Okay, so this is like our h and that's our k. Alrighty, so that means we went right 2 and up 7. That's how we shifted our graph. Okay, so we can start writing out. So we have f of x is equal to maybe an a, right? So a times x minus h, so that would be minus a 2 squared, and then plus our k, so plus 7. Okay, and all we have to do now is just find out what is our a. So we can just figure that out by plugging in a point that's not the vertex, okay? So if we just find a point, we could say, I don't know, 1, 5, right? That's on our graph here. So if we plug in 1, 5, this is our x and that's like our y, right? So 5 is equal to a times 1 minus 2 squared plus 7. So if we subtract the 7, we get negative 2 is equal to a times negative 1 squared is just a 1. So a is basically equal to just a negative 2, okay? So now we have the formula for our function here. So that would be negative 2 times x minus 2 squared plus 7, okay? So this is it. That is the equation for the quadratic function in the graph. Okay, question number 2 says determine if the vertex will be a maximum value or a minimum value, and we're going to find the vertex. Okay, so the first thing is to rearrange this in descending order so you can see what kind of graph it really is. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 7. So this is definitely quadratic, right? Because we have the highest power as a squared, or 2. And then we also have, well, we're supposed to determine whether it will be a maximum value or a minimum value on our graph. So we see that our x squared has a coefficient of positive 1, right, or a plus 1. So that means it'll be facing upward like a U, up like a cup, right? So in this case, whatever our vertex is right here, that will be a minimum value. That's the lowest we can go, right? So it'll be a minimum value. Minimum value. So now our job is to figure out what is the vertex. So let's identify our a, b, and c. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 8, and c is equal to 7. And if we plug that in for h, that's our x-coordinate of our vertex. This is going to be negative b over 2a, which is negative times negative 8 over 2 times 1. So this is going to be a positive 8 over 2. So h is equal to a positive 4. Okay, and then k is just simply going to equal whatever the value of our function is when we plug in the h. So when we plug in the 4 in this case. So 4 squared minus 8 times 4, and then plus 7. So this is equal to 16 minus 32 plus a 7. So negative 16 plus 7 is going to equal a negative 9. All right, so our vertex is going to be given by 4, negative 9, and that is a minimum value of our graph.